Okay, so now we have our triangular piece transferred onto our tracing paper. My goodness, I couldn't come up with the word. There we go, tracing paper. And we're ready to start transferring our image to our project, okay? And like I said on this last one, okay, you basically take that one triangle and we're going to use this tracing paper to transfer all the way around the edge, okay? And I'll show you how this is going to work. But the first thing that we need to do here is we need to see and we need to find the center of our square piece of paper. Now, typically speaking, the easiest way to find the center of a square or a rectangle is by just drawing a line from corner to corner. Okay, and that's the easiest way to find the center. However, with ours, we're on 12 by 12 paper. A 12-inch ruler isn't enough. Even a 15-inch ruler isn't enough to get corner to corner. So we've got to actually measure this out a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, and we're going to draw very lightly. Okay, I'm going to put, and make sure that you're looking at your ruler properly too. Okay, my ruler does not start at the edge. It starts right here. That's the 0 line. So that's where I need to line up the papers to my 0 line. Okay, some rulers start all the way over at the edge. So know your ruler before you start measuring. Okay, so since it's a 12-inch piece of paper, I need a mark right at 6 inches right in the center of my paper. Okay, so I'm going to kind of eyeball this first. Okay, and I'm looking at the top edge of this and I'm saying, okay, well, this is pretty close to the center. All right, I'm going to actually make sure that's lined up here. And I'm just going to put a very light mark here at 6 inches, okay? And you can probably barely see it, okay? And then I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put a mark at 6 inches, okay? So if you can see this, okay? Yeah, there we go. Okay. There's my mark. I'm not very far off, so I'm just going to take my ruler, make sure it's still lined up over there on the edge. Okay. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit to where the edge of the ruler is lined up with that mark, and my 0 line is lined up with the edge of the paper. And I'm going to put a mark right here. Okay. Right at that 6 inches, and I can erase the one that's a little bit off. Okay. And that's what I need to start with. I'm just going to have that little tiny dot there at that 6-inch mark. Okay? All right, so that's where we need to start. We got to have the center of our paper marked. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my ruler off to the side. Okay? And I'm going to look at this piece of paper that I've traced. Okay? And I've got my drawing on the front side of this. We're going to use this paper to create our transfers, all our transfers, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do this, all right? So I drew on this side to draw the designs like this. So I just put it on here, I drew on this side, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to take the tape off. As you need it, if you need the tape, you can use it as you wish. I find it to be a little bit faster for me not using it. But if you're having problems with the paper moving around, I would definitely use that tape. Okay, so I drew on this side. I'm going to put this side facing down, and I know it's facing down right now because this side is kind of gray looking. Okay, and what I need to do is right here on this point, I need the center point of my triangle to line up with that point on my paper. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's this way or over here. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I am lining up the point, the small point of my triangle with this point that's at the center of my paper, like so. Okay, and at this point, once you get it here, if you want to go ahead and tape it, you can. Okay, like I said, typically I don't because it's a little bit faster for me. I've gotten to the point where I can hold it without it moving. But and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace over these lines, and I'm pressing kind of hard when I'm doing this. Okay. And I am not using a ruler at this point, okay? The other little helpful tip is you don't want your pencil to be super sharp because it can shred through your paper as well, okay? So kind of a dull pencil is what you want. And I'm just going to go through here and just draw my lines in, taking my time, okay? Just like that, kind of pressing as I go, okay? Just like this. And I'll give you more tips along the way as I get there. Okay, and then I can go ahead and take this off. Okay, and this is where you want the tape to come off easily. Okay, so you can see it's transferred basically the pencil that was on the original side onto my paper. Now, we're going to use this to do the same thing over and over all the way around the circle. Okay, and the first couple times I'll walk you through it and then I'll speed it up so it doesn't take super long. So I'm going to flip this over here. And when we do this, we want to always make sure that we have the point of our triangle touching the center point of our paper and the shared edge, okay, the shared edge of our triangle, you need to overlap the lines, okay? Overlap those lines, have the center marked up, okay, to where it's even. And then the other thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that it's flipped the proper way. Okay, so make sure that the designs match up with each other. So I'm going to, first of all, make sure that it's lined up here, okay, to where the lines overlap and they're sitting right on top of each other. And then I'm going to make sure that the actual designs match up with each other, okay? Once I have that, I can go ahead and trace it in, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do this line over here first. And kind of having a system that works for you to remember, like, okay, well, I am going to always work from the top down, or I'm going to work from the bottom up, or I'm going to do the edges and then the inside. Okay, having some sort of system that works for you to remember which lines you've gone over, because at this point we're going back over our lines, okay? Just like this. When I lift it up, boom, you can see I've done it again, okay? So once again, moving forward, we're going to flip this, okay, and you can turn your paper as you go if that makes it easier. Make sure the point is matched up to the center point. Make sure that our designs are lined up with each other, and make sure that this line on your tracing paper is sitting on top of the line on the actual project paper, okay? So once I get those lined up, like so, if you need to, you can tape it down, okay, and then I'm going to continue with this. Okay, and at this point you can see how we're halfway. When I line this up, this line lines up over here. Okay, so now here at this point, we're doing the very last one, okay? And what you might find is that it doesn't match up just perfectly, okay? So mine, I have a little bit of a gap over here and a little bit of a gap over here, okay? So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to split the difference, okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of having all of the gap on the right or all of the gap on the left, I'm going to put my triangle right in the center, okay? Right in the center, so I have the same amount of gap over here and here. We're pretty close. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to go ahead and draw the top like this. I'm going to draw the things in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to draw close to the edge. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge over here on this last one. Okay, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I'm not going to draw all the way to these edges. I'm going to go close to the edge. Okay, so let's take a look. So that's what I have now, okay? So now what I can do is I can finish these off just freehand, like so, all right? And I just match it back up with the previous design on either side, like this, okay? And that's where we're at, okay? Now, most people, especially when we're done, will not be able to tell that this one is slightly larger than all the rest of them. So you should be good to go with that. And then in the next video, we'll talk about the next step. There you go. Have fun. Take your time. Go slow with it, and you'll have good results. See you later.